Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I have an awesome book to talk to you about, and this is going to be a review that comes in two parts. First will be a spoiler-free section, and then second will be full of spoilers, so if you have not read the book, please stop when I say the spoiler-free section is starting here, just so you can enjoy the book on your own. As you can probably see from the title of this video, I will be reviewing Jane Unwrapped by Leah and Kate Rooper, and this is what the lovely cover looks like. It is a beautiful purple, and this little, you can't really read it on here, it says, their tagline says, "Some tombs should never be opened." So as we can see, it is Egyptian, and I kind of compared this to being like the Percy Jackson of Egyptian mythology, just that it like delves into like Egyptian god and goddesses and sort of explains a lot of that while taking a fun twist on it. And I just really loved this book. This story follows Jane Ezreal, and she is a 17-year-old who has spent her whole life trying to get into Cambridge University. And because of that, she has devoted herself to school and science and doesn't have much of a friend group. And so one day she decides to go to Scuzz Falls, which is a river like rapids near her home, with her brother Duncan and his friends, and she gets out too far into some rapids that are really dangerous and she drowns. And when she dies, she is taken to this like purgatory, like between the living and the dead, called the Duat, which is in like ancient Egyptian mythology, and there she finds the god Anubis, who is the god of embalming. She figures out when she gets there that she cannot move on to paradise, the field of reeds, because she doesn't have a heart, which she doesn't really understand at the time, which is kind of a mystery throughout the entire book. She also runs into another god named Aten, who is the sun god, and he tells her that she needs to steal the heart of a pharaoh in order for her heart to be weighed to get into the field of reeds. And so Aten sends her back in time to when King Tut was a teenager and wants her to steal his heart in order for her to make it into paradise. So that's as far as I can probably say without being spoilery, and I can say that I loved this. It was so fun. I flew right through it. I read it literally in one sitting because I just could not get enough of it and I needed to know what happened. So if that doesn't convince you to read it, maybe this will. Leah and Kate are awesome. They are like AuthorTube booktubers, and they make really funny and insightful videos about writing and review books, and they are awesome. So if you don't check it out just because the story sounds amazing, check it out because they are amazing, and you will want to support them once you sort of see their videos and yeah, get to know them. If you want to get your hands on Jane Unwrapped by Leah and Kate Rooper, it comes out October 12th. You can pre-order it now for the ebook version, or you can pre-order it like a week in advance if you want to get a physical copy. I loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so fun and so refreshing, such a breath of fresh air. I would recommend it to everyone. Alright, we are moving on to the spoilers, so if you have not read it, goodbye. Here are spoilers coming your way now. Alright, spoiler friends, let's talk about Anubis. I did not expect to love Anubis, and I felt like reading this that Leah and Kate didn't expect it either. When they originally intended, I feel like they wanted Jane to end up with Tut, but I feel like Anubis just kind of wormed his way, like weaseled his way in there and was like, ah yeah, you're gonna like me, because that's very his personality. But I loved it. Like, he's the type of character that I love, very complex, mysterious, and then you grow to love him. I mean, how could you not? He was amazing. I loved his relationship with Jane. He like taught her to live, which is exciting because she didn't have much of a life, or she didn't devote her life to things that she wanted to when she lived her like human life. I don't know what we want to call it, her life before she went to the Duat. I also thought the pacing of this was excellent. I never felt bored. I always felt like there was something new happening and occurring, and there was always this like urgency and momentum underneath it of like Jane needing to get the heart before she disappears, and like she and Anubis falling in love but not having any time to be together, and then Anubis, like, she thinking that Anubis was in love with his mother, and all of this just like complicated mess, and it just really made for an awesome and exciting narrative that, like I said earlier, I like blew through in one sitting because I just like had to figure out what was going on. I also love the attention to detail that Leah and Kay had to keeping it accurate and factual as far as like the myths went and the gods, and I thought it was really interesting to kind of learn about those things because I never had before. Another big plus for me, I loved that she was a science nerd and that she would add like little science-y like quips in there whenever she could, and I loved the format throughout that was like the fact, hypothesis, experiment, conclusion, and then finally at the end I was a little teary when you know, Jonesy, like we've seen Jonesy throughout all of the years working on her like mummified body. We've seen Duncan grow up and sort of do things that Jane probably inspired him to do, like help like people who have malaria, when he kept saying like Janie, and then we figure out that he named his daughter Jane. It was all very touching, and then Jonesy at the end like says that Jane's heart, the heart that has been missing throughout the whole book, saved someone's life, and they are like 26 years old and living like for however many years. And that just made me so happy, and it was like the perfect conclusion. It works as just a standalone, like I'd be happy with how it ended if it was just a standalone, but of course I would love to see if Jane had more adventures with Anubis because I like their relationship a lot and I thought they were a lot of fun. So yeah, if you've reached this point, you've read this book and I'm sure you also loved it. Let's talk about it down in the comments if you've read it. As always, thank you for stopping by my little book nook of the internet, and I will see you next time. Bye.